the only Leeds Bros show.
Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Only Leeds Bros for today's vlog, a Q&A with Stuart Dallas and Ian Harte over in the Talbot Hotel in Stillorgan. Dillo, you buzzing for it?
No, I'm only messing. No, this is going to be a good one, lads, I have to say. Something different for Only Leeds Bros. Meet two legends of the past, the Mighty Whites. Ian Harte, the legend, Republic of Ireland international.
Wand of a left foot.
Wand of a left foot was right. Then, of course, Stuart Dallas down to the Bielsa era as well, to ask questions like that as well, get the insight of that winning team when we went up. I'm actually really looking forward to it. What about you?
Yeah, look, it's just surreal. Look, obviously, my time starting supporting Leeds was that Leeds team in the early 2000s, and Ian Harte was a hero of mine. Obviously, being Irish, he's a left footer. I was a left footer as well, and I remember just being down in my dad's field, kicking ball, hitting free kicks, thinking I was Ian Harte. Look, and I just unbelievable.
And today you get to meet him.
Today I get to meet him, so it'll be a little bit.
You know what I call that? Football friend.
And then obviously Stuart Dallas as well. Look, I think every Leeds fan loves Stuart Dallas. He ran through the brick walls for Leeds United and Bielsa. Anywhere he put him, it's just going to be surreal to meet them. And hopefully, obviously, we get a couple of pictures and maybe get a video with them and give them a shout out. Get them to give a shout out to Only Leeds Bros now. But yeah, absolutely buzzing and looking forward to it. So yeah, we'll document everything that we can, and just looking forward to it. Now it's time to get a point.
Point. Yeah.
Welcome back to Only Leeds Bros. Pleased to say that we're joined by Leeds and ex-Republic of Ireland legend Ian Harte. Ian, how are you, buddy?
How are you keeping? You okay?
All good. A bit nervous, but thanks for giving up your time.
Nah, brilliant. Looking forward to tonight. It should be a good occasion. Obviously, it's Stuart Dallas's first time kind of speaking to people as well. So we're all looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's delight to have you here. So again, thanks for giving up.
No problem.
Ian, we'll get into it. So a couple of questions for you. Anyway, the first one I have for you is, can you tell us about your time, how it came out moving over to Leeds, and what was that like moving across the water?
Yeah, I played for St Kevin's, Whitehall Church, and at the time, obviously, Uncle Gary was over in Leeds, so I got invited on a trial. Paul Hart was the youth team manager. Was over there about 3-4 days, and ended up signing as a striker.
Striker?
Yes.
Was Gary a striker?
Gary was a striker. He ended up at right back. I was a striker, and I ended up at left back. So it was obviously pretty amazing to get asked to come across and sign. So signed me YTS, and it was brilliant.
Rest is history, as they say.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Dillo, you have a question for Ian?
What would you say is who was your biggest influence on your career?
I'd have to say, obviously, having Gary at Leeds at the time, because listen, 16-year-old moving away to a different country, knowing nobody else, you know what I mean? So I was homesick quite a bit, and back then I was on 30 quid a week wages, YTS, £20 UT manager Paul Hart. He took us to Allied Irish Bank, made us save 20 quid. We had a bus pass, and obviously our digs were paid for, so I had £10 a week to survive on, and most of that money was phoning home, if I'm being totally honest. But it was difficult, but it was brilliant to have Gary to kind of help me through the difficult times. Yeah.
We'll go on here for you, and one that I'm actually interested in. If you could play one game again in your career, what one would it be?
It would probably be at Elm Road, Deportivo, quarterfinals of the Champions League. Probably the best atmosphere I've ever experienced. To score the goal, the free kick, went and smashed it in, and obviously to assist in the two other goals as well. So for me, that is probably the one that stands out. Yeah.
What would you say your best goal is for Leeds United?
I'd probably say
the free
that goal that night.
Say
like
it was.
As a young lad, obviously we're all young, and you're watching telly and you hear that Champions League music, let alone walking out to it, scoring in it. You know what I mean? It's it was pretty special that night, and of course, they were a top team. Obviously, we went away, we lost 2-0 away from home. We were under the cosh really, but brilliant to obviously get through the tie. But no, back then they were a top team.
Yeah, my favourite goal that you scored was the one at Highbury when they stay up that year. Remember the free kick in the corner where it bounced just in front of
Yeah.
that
Well, the year before that, I don't know.
You scored as well.
I scored against Dave Seaman.
Yeah.
But 3 of them were against David
yeah.
Seaman. But it was in the far end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was in the top corner. I don't know if I can swear or not, but David Seaman said to me after the end of the game, he went, "Is there any chance you fucking stop scoring against me?" Sorry, David.
Because he is Leeds, well, he used to be Leeds growing up, didn't he?
Yeah. So, I love playing at Highbury and especially scoring 3 goals. Yeah, it was nice.
Dylan that we just played on my dad's field. And I used to try and replicate that free kick to trying to get it bounced before being a left footer as well. I used to always try. Could never get it right. I'd always go over.
Well, I think that goal that obviously beat him when I hit it in, I'm sure it glanced off Ashley Cole's head.
Did it?
Yeah. But
no,
you got to hit the target. You got to hit the target, don't you?
That's to be done. My next one for you, Ian, was what do you think of the current Leeds team at the minute and the chance of the promotion getting back to the Premier League?
Well, if I'm being honest, I think it's a better team this year than it was last year.
Yeah.
I think there was individuals last year. You know, obviously you have Routier and you had I'm trying to think Archie and Somerville, like great individual talents. But I think Daniel has got them all playing unbelievable football, and I think it's a better team unit this year. Hopefully, I think they'll go on and win the league. Yeah.
The last question, Brian.
Do we? I remember Starstruck Ian, sorry. I would say, who was your favourite player for Leeds United? Apart from Gary,
the best player I've been lucky enough to play against some unbelievable players. I'd probably have to say Zidane was probably, or the original Ronaldo. Playing against them was pretty special. But well, to be honest, obviously we played against Real Madrid, and when I was at Leeds, and obviously played with Levante when I moved out to Spain. Yeah, unbelievable. But players that I've played with, probably I'd say it's hard to pick one. Roy Keane was like unbelievable. I know, obviously, for Leeds people, me to mention Roy Keane United, but Mark Viduka and Harry Kewell on the day as well were top players. Viduka's the one game that stands out for me was the game against Liverpool when unfortunately Patrick Beggar did his cruciate then, but Viduka scored the 4 goals. We won 4-3, so that was a special game. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's it, is it?
Unbelievable, yeah, that's it. Can't believe it. Thanks very much for giving up your time, Ian.
No problem at all.
Cheers, thanks very much. That's it from Only Leeds Bros.
Champions League run. Talk us through, the AC Milan, you talked about Barcelona already, but like the AC Milan, getting all the way through. And I think you also scored your favourite and best goal, you say, in the Champions League. But, talk us about what the manager was thinking and what your players were thinking going through that Champions League run.
It was pretty awful because we used to get a private plane, and obviously it was chartered from Switzerland.
Well, it is the day after the night before the Q&A with Stuart Dallas and Ian Harte in the Talbot Hotel in Stillorgan, guys. It was an unbelievable night out. Some of the insights that we got to two of these guys' careers last night was unbelievable. You have Ian Harte, who was obviously, early 90s right through to the 2000s. That glory kind of years of Leeds United, and then obviously the brink of collapse then, and 16 years later then you have Stuart Dallas then, who was part of that rise to bring the club back to where we all know it should be. And it was just amazing, some of the stories from Ian Harte. He spoke about Peter Ridsdale, the money that was spent, private chartered airlines, top class hotels that they stayed in, the best of the field. And Ian just said that they always just got the best of the best under Peter Ridsdale. He obviously went into a little bit as well about that night in Istanbul where Chris and Kev sadly lost their lives, and he's adamant that game should have never been played, and it's probably one of his regrets that he said that they should have refused to play that night and not played that game. And we've heard so many ex-Leeds players that did play in that game have said that. So yeah, it was a bit surreal to go and be hearing that coming from Ian. And then you'd Stuart then as well, that we all know was very heavily Marcelo based, and how he spoke so highly of Marcelo, and probably a lot of the stuff that we haven't heard in the media and stuff. We've obviously heard, of murder ball and the pods in the training ground so they could go for the midday naps and stuff like that. But a lot of the kind of psychological side of the game that Marcelo went into, to give them that little bit 1%, and how Stuart almost felt that it got to a stage where they knew where they had to be, and the way opposition set up, if opposition changed their formation, they knew exactly what they had to do, and he was kind of very pivotal in that, where he knew if they were playing two up front, he had to drop in, and he was kind of the one to adjust his position to suit the opposition that we were playing against on the day. And obviously went into a lot of details as well. At the time, he obviously had a kid. His wife was heavily pregnant on their second child. He was only living 10 minutes from the training ground, and they still kind of had to stay there or go to a hotel to kind of have their midday naps before the second session. And Stuart asked for permission to could he go back and be with his wife, who was heavily pregnant at the time, and Marcelo point blank just said no, absolutely not, it's just not happening. And obviously, understandably, Stuart was upset about this, but then began to realise that what it was actually for, that his reason for it was, going back to the house, kind of run around after toddler, helping his wife, not being able to kind of switch off and relax and be 100% ready for the next session, to give him that 1% when it came to match days. It was unbelievable to hear some of the stories last night, lads. And again, you can probably see it on my face. I'm just absolutely buzzing from it last night. It was class. You obviously seen the interview that we done with Ian as well. It was a bit surreal. You can probably see by myself and Dylan in it that we were a little bit starstruck when he first kind of walked in, even when we started doing the interview. Yeah, we were just completely starstruck by Ian Harte. And there's a funny story, just after we done the interview, I said I'll go to the bathroom and freshen myself up, throw a bit of water on the face and that. So there, washed their hands, dried them, about to walk out the bathroom door, pull the door open, and Stuart Dallas is just standing there looking at me, and it was just, surreal to me, Stuart Dallas in a bathroom. I don't know many people who can say that, but it was class. And then we also had a great night out as well. Jerry Lynch from The View was top guy, had a great time chatting to him, and yeah, just a great evening. And then with a lot of people then coming up to us as well, fans of the channel, with John Redmond as well, with his son and his grandson as well, generational Leeds fans. Couple of pictures as well, people who recognise us. There was absolutely mental with Ken as well, Ken Jarvis as well. It's a big shout out to you, Ken, and a brilliant conversation with you. And just an all round magnificent night, lads. We absolutely loved that, and I'd love to do more of this. I just wish they'd put more of these events on, these Q&A with legends, because I'd go to every single one of them. It was just absolutely class. That's it, lads, Money Leeds bros. That's it from the vlog. I hope you liked it, because we really did. Don't forget to slap a like on the video, hit subscribe to the channel. Myself and Dylan will be back on Sunday for our Sheffield United build-up ahead of a massive game against Sheffield United on Monday night. So we will be back on Sunday for that. Chat to you all again soon. Mind yourselves and mind each other.